Donald Trump. Many of the other charges have been left intact. So CBS News legal contributor and Loyola Law School professor Jessica Levinson's going to join us now to explain. All right, so what are we talking about here? What's been withdrawn and what does it mean?
It means that the prosecutor can still go back, can still go to the grand jury and say, we need more specificity. So the bottom line for people watching is it doesn't mean that these particular claims go away. It means that there could be a delay. I believe that the judge gave the prosecution 6 months to go back and plead with the required specificity for these particular claims, but it doesn't take 6 months. And so the prosecution, and again, the big question is, who will the prosecutor be? But the prosecution can act more quickly. So this was basically a motion to dismiss, a motion by the defendants to say, we didn't get enough notice of what we're actually being charged with. There were deficiencies in the complaint. So go ahead and throw that complaint out. What the judge said today is basically, I disagree with you. I agree. I disagree. For those portions of the complaint where I agree, the prosecution can still go back and try again.
So what happens next, Jessica?
I think what happens next is that the prosecution will go back, and we're talking about specific parts of the indictment that deal with which provisions of the Georgia Constitution are alleged to have been violated. And what the judge says here is there's a lot of provisions of the federal Constitution and the Georgia Constitution. Go ahead and give the defendants notice of exactly what we're talking about here. And I think that that's what the prosecution will do. They'll go back to a grand jury and they'll say, we mean these particular provisions of the Constitution. They can then issue a superseding indictment. That just means like this is the new amended complaint, and they can then continue to move forward.
So I can't keep track now of any of the dates of any of these things, but I presume something like this pushes whatever dates are on the calendar, pushes them back.
Well, I don't know, actually, in the sense that the next criminal trial, I think we all understand, will be that March 25th trial in New York. And that's the case that deals with the hush money payments and the business ledgers and whether or not the former president committed a felony by mischaracterizing payments to Michael Cohen in furtherance of trying to win the election. So given that I think the Georgia prosecutors can actually act with a reasonable amount of speed here, and given that that New York case, I think, is expected to take over a month, I'm actually not sure that we're really talking about a delay here. I know for all of these various parts, it's just trying to keep the jigsaw puzzle in place and figure out what does this actually push back. I think the answer is maybe nothing. The bigger delay would be if the district attorney is found to have a conflict of interest and if she's disqualified.
All right, Jessica Levinson, always great to have you breaking this down for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, time for What to Watch. Turns out a lot of young people truly believe that money can't buy you love, so they're not willing to pay for it on dating apps.
Oh, I was going to say, what is this about? Is that
According to
illegal?
new reporting from the New York Times, younger generations are swiping left on dating app subscription fees. Edward Moreno wrote that article. He's a business reporter for the New York Times, and he joins us now. So, Edward, in your piece, you interview an 18-year-old NYU